Hello, Attactioneers. Welcome to the Attack Action Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Morrow, Urban Explorer.
And I'm the calling Honigman, and I believe it's Thursday is Friday right now.
And I'm Blake, the Reckless Rampage.
No, I was going to still do it. You ruined it. And I'm Zayne, ace in the hole.
Nice.
Let's go!
Whoa! Woo! All right. Everything's
It's
different in my
flesh and
life.
blood, baby.
It is. It says it on my hoodie right here. New background, even newer than the last one. It's Chaos back there with the choasts. We're blaming them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you guys need to watch the YouTube.
Is that hoodie
we
made
do.
out of stronger material than the last one? in
Yeah, it's
LA?
a denser weave. It's cotton poly blend. It's pretty good.
Is it ghost rated though?
It's choast
It's
rated.
toast rated. Sorry.
It's choast rated. Yeah. Two things. One, clearly I'm now an urban explorer. I've moved from the country to the big city. I walk everywhere now. I wear mainly black, as most people in urban environments do. You know,
Do you carry the tiny mic around and interview people on the street?
I do. I go, hello. Will you speak into this? And then they go, and then they just keep walking. Or they
Tell me
see
how you met your first love.
They see me
What are
coming
you
and they
into right now?
cross the street early. Or it's some nice guys installing internet, which I saw today, or some nice guys doing gutters, also what I saw, because I was out exploring my urban environment.
And they're at work, so they can't leave when you start talking to them. you know?
Absolutely. No, they can't. It's the best type of person to make viral content out of. So there you go. Those are kind of the updates.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a good
Just
room. It's pink.
It is pink.
It's brighter than the last one.
It is. It's a brighter part of my life now.
It's
You
giving
know?
peach, Although it is a little camouflage coded to your skin type, so
Yeah, totally. It's a good thing I have this dresser, or else I would just blend.
Might
You would just see the
disappear.
mustache. Yeah.
It's got a nice
Maybe a
little
hat.
summer vibe going on, though.
Totally.
It's getting warm down here, SoCal.
Don't I know about that? No, I don't. It's fucking frigid
I don't know. It's
coast
been weirdly
wind.
cold in LA. It rained yesterday. Was
Oh,
it
really?
yesterday?
It was warm in San Diego today. It's supposed to be like almost 90 in this weekend.
Jesus.
This weekend's supposed to be hot, yeah, but it's been it's been weirdly cold. I was up in San Francisco and it was weirdly warm when I was there for like 48 hours.
You got your
San
wires
Francisco-
crossed, Colin.
San Francisco's warmer than you think it is.
It's
Everybody
also
there-
colder
it was
than
like
you think it is.
it was like 80 degrees and everyone was like, "Wow, this is a beautiful day today." And we're just like, "Yeah, I know, it's pretty nice out."
It's because it's
I mean-
like Southern California.
But like I went to Giants games when I was younger, and like it's right on the water, and as soon as it's like the sun is down and the wind starts, it's like cold.
It's cold.
Cold.
When the wind comes whipping off the water, I think is how that song goes. Okay. The other
Watch
thing
me
I got to
whip
say, I have a public apology. Okay. I realized this the other day playing Dungeons and Dragons with my dear friends. I have been publicly over pirates, not into pirates. Like, said it many times, OD'd on pirates. But what has been happening or happened in my Dungeons and Dragons campaign, I did not put this together, that I'm playing an old man wizard, and through my subconscious and different factors, the backstory emerged that he actually in his early life was a pirate. And that's being played up quite a bit in this campaign. And I haven't fought it once. I've thought it has been really fun. I made up a bunch of pirate names that I used to go by in my past life. And it's a whole table where they can roll if they party members do good enough at checks and shit. So I'm all in on the pirate backstory. And so I need to apologize to you, my co-hosts, and you, the listener, that I'm not out on pirates as much as I was leading on to.
Fucking loves pirates.
That, in fact, I still like pirates. And, a weight has been lifted not only from this apology, but that now I'm being true to myself. So, yar, me matey.
You booked a flight to Taipei to go to the world premiere of High Seas now?
I'm going to be there, baby. You can't stop me. Ha ha ha.
He's so in now.
Well, thank you for apologizing, because that would have been weird if you kept up the facade, living in the lie of pirate hate when you are in fact holding a pirate within you.
A pirate lord, as one would say.
I also want to know these other pirate names you have for your character, just to see how they compare to Gravy Bones.
The Dread Pirate Cynthia is one of them.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Marlon?
No. If you give me 1 second, I can grab my journal and it's right over there.
Do
but
it.
I will only tell you the ones that have been spoiled in the campaign, not ones that they haven't found out yet. Because Levi plays Dungeons and Dragons with me, and I had to turn to him this weekend and be like, I need to publicly apologize.
I think I love pirates.
Fuck. Let me set down this very heavy microphone.
Yeah, don't dent your desk.
Be crazy if another Taylor popped out of that box behind him right now.
An even more wall-colored Taylor.
Me when I'm the color of the wall. Let's see. What do we got? Roll on the table. Oh wait, no, you're not spoiling. I love D&D when you make up the deep lore and it actually gets incorporated in the game. I made up a crazy backstory and then it just never. I was like, here's my backstory.
Okay. Here are the ones they know about. The Dread Pirate Cynthia. Threadbare Theodore. Swizzlebeard. And that's it. But there's a whole bunch of these.
Fucking Swizzlebeard is my favorite.
This is pretty good, yeah.
That's what you called Blake, which made him shave his beard off.
Okay, this one is my favorite, I think. Dr. Friday.
That is.
So why do you think you hated pirates for that intermediate period?
I don't know if hate is the right word. I would say burnt out on pirate stuff.
Pirates have to earn their way into your heart.
That's correct, yes. Yeah.
They can't be given or manufactured into your heart.
You know what? I fucking loved whatever that show was. Why can't I think of the name of it right now? That got
Game of Thrones?
Our Flag Means Death.
Our Flag Means Death. That was great.
That was a great show.
But it more was like pirates were a vessel to tell the story. It was not about pirates.
Well, pirates are in a vessel. That's what makes them pirates. It's a boat. They go around in boats.
Oh, it makes sense now. Okay, now everybody knows my backstory and everything that's going on. I feel better. I feel lighter. Thank you.
I feel better too.
Yeah, I was worried.
Yeah, I didn't prep you guys. I just said I have a public apology.
I actually was worried. I was like, what the fuck did we say that we now have to apologize for? I don't always remember the things we say here while we're recording. So,
Absolutely not.
Well, that's great. I guess on my end, I don't even know, man. Things are busy. I was in San Francisco. If if anyone is going to the Figma conference, config that's happening right now, let me know. My company put it on, and my team built a big synthesizer that you can play with when you walk in. That's pretty dope. So that was fun. I made an excuse to go, and I went and hung out a little bit. Had some good dinners. Got drunk one night. That was fun.
How drunk?
Nice.
Showed you drunk, like so pretty drunk.
Like snuck up on you, not quite as much as you expected.
My face is hot right now. Is your face hot? Like
normally I don't get hangovers with soju, but I was feeling pretty rough the next day when I had to go pretty early to a different job and work alone in a retail store fixing an LED wall for like 9 hours. Me and a security guard who was just quietly there, and I was just like, this is my job right now.
Was he asleep? Did he have sunglasses on?
No, but there was like 4 of them, and they all just cycled through and just looked at their phones on like a little loungy couch thing while I worked on the thing. But
Colin, I kind of know what you do for work, and that does not sound like what you do for work.
It's a special job that I've found me in charge of, and I just had to go do some work on it. But yeah,
you delegated it to yourself.
Yeah, which in this case worked out nice because I went up and saw this other job too, hung out with some of my team, and we had fun. And then we had a big demo today for clients on another job that I can't talk about, and it went pretty well, so that's good.
Hell yeah. We'll take pretty well these days in 2025.
It's super Wednesday. I'm fucking tired though, dude. That's all I gotta say. I was not good yesterday, and it's bleeding into today, but I'm feeling better now. It's good to be here with you guys, my friends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We are. We're friends.
We're friends. I would list you as my friends. If I made a list of friends, there would be your names and not that many other people, to be honest. But
and Reinar and Prism,
Kano, just a bunch spelled differently a bunch of times. Little Keanu, maybe. I don't know. What else is there? No, that's it. I'm taking Friday off though. We're going out of town.
Fuck yeah. Where are you going?
Getting out of Dodge.
Back to San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm going back up to San Francisco. Have some unfinished business. Got to buy some stuff in that store. Now we're going to the desert. Indio, Palm Springs, Coachella area.
Coachella?
Got a late invite.
My favorite gas station's over there.
A house. Is it? Which one?
The one that has the Arby's Taco Bell combo.
Dude, there's an Arby's Taco Bell combo.
Yeah.
Is that the only reason?
I've taken at least 5 pictures there to send as jokes in different parts of my life. Of back whenever it was like 2014, it was like, how could I choose? I sent to one friend group. Then the Taylor Swift, you wouldn't last a minute in the asylum I was raised in. I put that on it just for a different friend group.
What's so good about this too is like it's been 10 years and you remember the specific joke. That's how meaningful it is.
It is. How could you choose? Like I love Arby's. Not a lot of people do. I had my birthday there once. You probably heard that story already. Taco Bell is also very good, but you are also going to have to go to the bathroom after both of those. So it's self-serve drinks too.
Is it like shared indoor facility? Like,
oh yeah,
dude. I guess you know that song. I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the Arby's. I'm at the
Arby's Taco Bell.
A combination Arby's and Taco Bell. It's a good song. Tight. Well, I don't know. I've never seen that, and I've been out there a lot.
We have the diarrhea. That will be the next one I'll send.
Although for me, it's an easy choice. Taco Bell is goated. Crunchwrap Supreme for life. I don't fuck much with Arby's, but
guys, we've been over this already. We spent a whole
Arby's doesn't have guac
about Taco Bell.
Did we?
did. We
Bro,
did.
I had guac yesterday.
I think it's a thumbnail.
oh yeah, that's right. We did.
I had guac yesterday at Chipotle, and she was like, "This is the last thing." Obviously, guac is like $2.45 extra. She smushed the lid completely into it, and I was like, "Now I got to spend $2.45 of my own manpower to rip it off the lid." I was like, "Good lord!"
No, she's giving you your money's worth. You know, you got to pack it in there.
Energy in, energy out. You know, it's fine.
Truly.
Carbon neutral at that
The
point.
biggest problem is then your chips can't really scoop that well when it's so tight, and it breaks the chips, and then you're just like, then you're wasting money on chips.
I've been carbon negative for like 20 years at this point. My body is riddled with it.
I mean, I hope so in some ways.
Yeah, we are, as they say, carbon-based life forms.
It's true. It's full of water. What the fuck? We're just like weird jelly sack, donut-shaped jelly
We're
sacks
tubes.
full of carbon and water.
We're a tube within a tube.
Yeah, dude, we're donut-shaped. Anyways, Blake, how are you doing?
Interesting. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a lot of money back for my tax refund, and then my stepdad just did it wrong, so $1,900 just disappeared out of thin air. So I was like, ah! So that was crazy. There's been a mystery cat in our neighborhood that is lost that somebody is willing to give a 5-figure reward for, and I think I saw it today, and I took pictures and sent it off. So I don't know if it's going to be like, Blake, we used your tip to find the cat. Here's some money. That would be a crazy twist and turn. I was
going to say that cat is dead, but you saw it. So
I think I saw it today. I took a picture, sent it to the owner, and at no point did they go, I wish that does not look like the cat. It was a very much other way, and apparently they had heard more about it earlier this week, so it wasn't as like,
so wait, you took a picture of a cat in
I was straight up
the other
private
way.
investigator. It
You
was
mean
crazy.
it was dog? It was closer to a dog than a cat? Is that what you mean by the other way?
No.
What do I mean?
No.
by
He's
the
saying that
other
it's
way?
likely was the cat.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm with
the-
you, Blake.
I guess.
But wait,
The
Blake,
guy
why
never
are you
said-
here when there's 10K on the line here? You could be out.
Somebody had the cat on a leash, and I'm not going to physically force the cat away from a person.
But you could.
Wow.
But they were out and about with a cat on a leash by the drive-thru that I was literally ordering at. Rick's
Flaunting.
Hamburger is in Colin's life all the time too. So if
Dude,
Rick's
spaghetti
Hamburger,
is back.
me going to Rick's Hamburger and me being in the drive-thru when someone walks by with a prized cat that's been missing for 6 weeks, if that's what puts me back on, Blake's going to Taipei. It'd be crazy.
what's the go-to order at Rick's? I've never actually been. I've only driven by.
Oh my god, you have a T-shirt, but you never
Dude,
eaten there.
spaghetti is back is iconic.
Rick's has the Super Buy, which is a double cheeseburger, or you could put not cheese, that you get fries and a drink with, and it's like $14 around there. But I always do something stupid and get a grilled cheese, because the grilled cheese on the way home, you eat it on the way home, fat boy shit. But like it is so good on the way home when it is lava hot. It reminds me of the grilled cheese as I had probably 6 years old to 10 years old, where like grilled cheese was like the best food of all time in that point of my life.
Yeah.
Dude, that's great.
So
That
it's like
reminds me-
$22 for that.
Food memory off, tangent. I was in San Francisco. My brother-in-law and some friends lived there many years ago, and there was a small produce shop on the corner across from their house, and they had these fucking strawberry peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with like fresh strawberries cut into it on like a cinnamon bread. I've thought about them for many years. I was late to my first job there because I was like, I'm going there. I bought 2 of those fucking things and a bagel. I was like, this is like, I was just swimming down memory lane. It was awesome.
I love
Dude,
that stuff.
That fucking blew my mind. I'm going to make that
That
next
sounds
week
so
for
good.
lunch.
Really good. It's just like a little bit of jelly and then some fresh strawberries. Like, fuck.
Did it live
The
up to
cinnamon
the
bread
memory
is-
though?
Huh?
It lived up to the memory.
Oh, yeah.
And peanut butter.
They were smaller than I remember, but it was still very good.
Well, it's 'cause
Shrinkflation.
you have huge hands. That's what that's the
That's true.
problem.
I've grown a lot.
You have. Yeah.
My growth spurt finally happened.
Yeah, you're 5'5". You used to be 4'5", you know?
Motherfucker, I'm 5'7". Shut the fuck up.
Zayne, dude, what's going on? You're on this podcast.
I am here. You can probably still hear that I'm a little bit sick. I've been sick for many days, and that's been a great excuse to play Expedition 33, which I needed the rest after the long vacation. I was gone like almost 3 full weeks, and I did not get sick the whole time, and I was like, yes, we did it. We made it through. And then my first week back at work, I was like, I could feel it coming through the week. And then come Friday, I was like, yeah, no. But yeah, so I haven't been doing much. Just been playing Expedition 33 and trying to sleep when I can.
Dude, tell
Game's
me.
good.
Game's good.
I played an hour last night. It's a lot of nothing happens.
I mean, it's a
come on,
JRPG, so the first hour is just like, let me follow this person and talk to every single other person around.
I skipped that part.
They
when
throw
were
you
like,
in. They throw you in pretty quick, but the first hour is not a lot. Yeah, but there's they give you some emotional investment. But yeah,
Yeah, it was cool.
The
Shout
music-
out to music is good. Also, shout out to our boy Daredevil, who's the voice.
Ben Affleck?
Nope, the other guy, Charlie Cox.
the whole like vibe and aesthetic of the game, and I'm in the first. I don't know who that is. I'm in Act
there
1,
no-
so I don't know anything. But the vibe and aesthetic of that game is like so fun and charming, and I'm having a great time.
It's like it's pretty sweet. It's very over the top. in a quaint way, though, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, it has a very strong aesthetic that is like weird and unique and very French, I would say.
Is a gommage a made up word or a French word?
I've like been meaning to Google it, and then I was like,
half of cheese. Fromage is cheese. And
it's an
go.
it's a gentle exfoliation method. Oh, that's brutal for what it actually is in the game.
That's
I-
pretty good.
In
I thought that was Robert Pattinson the whole time.
dude. It looks. Dude,
It
have you
looks like
been
it.
on the internet, the Reddits, the internet comments? It's
I told Jess, I was like, look, Robert Pattinson's in this
Yeah,
game.
dude. It's fucking awesome. There in that first hour, you get to fight that little girl, whatever her face is. Like when you're at some post party, it's the saddest party ever. And I played that for like probably 20 minutes and lost every time. I was like, I am not a like gamer. Like this game on a monitor and stuff, this fucking blew my mind. I'm just like, wow, video games now are crazy, is what I think every time I play
Dodge.
a video game. Like I have my my like DS right here, like this is what I'm used to playing in my 30s is like small screen pixels. And I'm just like, the horizon.
Nice.
So
It's
it
fun.
was turn based and moving too fast for me. Still,
It's a actiony,
Yeah.
turn based.
It's hard. Like there's stuff that moves fast and you have to learn it. Like
Yeah, parrying is difficult, but it's cool that you can parry.
it is.
It's very satisfying when you get that counter attack. You're just like, fuck you.
Fuck yeah. Should we talk about Flesh and Blood now that it's been a half an hour?
yeah.
Yeah, that
mom's-
sounds about
Yeah.
time.
Happy Mother's Day. This will come out Mother's Day weekend. My
All
mom
right.
will be happy. She will have made it 30 minutes into this podcast before we start talking about Flesh and Blood. So getting bang
And
for
shout
her
out
buck.
to everyone whose Mother's Day is not a great day.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's go. Flesh and Blood.
Flesh and Blood.
We've got news. Well, I guess before we get in the news, I don't know. Fuck it. Just get in the news.
Fucking, we're getting right in the news. Two hands. Dev chat? No. Project Blue. What do you want to do?
Or Aurora.
Aurora LL'd. There was a dev chat. It was interesting. It was frustrating. Do we have any thoughts on it? Of course we do. Have you heard all the thoughts on this probably already? Anything specific you guys want to say?
I mean, I think it's interesting. Aurora was good her entire lifespan. She was probably a top 4 deck her entire lifespan. I think the way that we're saying this is, she didn't win a World, she didn't win a Pro Tour, but she did win a Calling. I think that is true. So when they were like, she didn't win any big events, it's like, well, Calling's a big event. One thought process is that they said she got so many points because so many people played her. It was literally like 30 to 40% of some people's meta. So instead of, she didn't have the highest conversion rate to top 8, but just so many people played her that so many people got points, that so many points went in. And I think what is interesting is whenever they dump it to LL in the leaderboard in the bottom, they don't write how many points she overall got that last season. But in this season where everybody else has all their numbers currently, I think she was over 600. And 600 points in one season seems astronomically high. Of like, how is this possible? I do think it's a interesting time for people to go, damn, is the LL thing working? Or why was this such an outlier? Or we already gave some points away to 2 other people that LL'd, or it would have even been worse maybe. And I think the other thought process too is when you look at the pie chart from this past week, I think it was week 3, you had 57% of the wins come from Runeblade, from this set called Rosetta. And that's after a Runeblade already used the Rosetta cards to LL. So Runeblade, we have our 4th Runeblade LL. Aurora was played astronomically high, and then, oh crap, we had a misprint on one of our cards in the Aurora deck. I was like, okay, interesting.
That's crazy. I thought they started scaling the points for LL.
They did. They've like tweaked it over time, and
Like
I think
6
that
times already. Yeah.
where we're at is better than where it was. I think like one solution I've seen proposed is like limiting the amount that a hero can get through PQs and RTNs in a season. Like cap it at 400, and then like track it if it's more, and then if it's way more, like whatever, it's 500 in a season, then like evaluate for bans, like which you probably already would be. But like instead of them getting all 600 points that they should have, cap it at 400 so you can approximate how long the hero will be legal or whatever. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways to solve this potential problem, but I think my thought on LL is that I still like the system, and I think it's like worth trying to preserve because it is like fun and interesting and unique.
Yeah.
It is the most unique thing about FAB, and they said it's our most highly trafficked webpage.
Yeah. It's,
Oh shit!
Well, two things. One, like first time a hero has done it in this way, right? That they have been so consistent over 2 releases after they were released and been so popular, right? Like, definitely some heroes who have LL'd have had the story of like, well, this is just a really broken hero, right? And that's really early in the game. And then now we're at a point where a hero is LLing due to its like popularity and like the juicedness of kind of how Runeblade is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and power, like for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally powerful. But that's a unique story for LL, right? And like still, this is like only year 5 or 6, right, of the game. So I think we need more data on how the system like actually works. But I think it's awesome. I love how it's actually working. Like, when was the last time a new set came out and it's basically a fresh meta? You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time that happened? Like, never. Like, this is pretty cool that High Seas is going to come out and you're not going to be like, well, can you do 40 damage right now twice in the game without pitch stacking? Because that's what these heroes do. And if you can't do that, then you're toast. You know what I mean? Like, they might be more viable of a CC pick, all 3 of those heroes in this meta, than they would have normally. The other thing I think, well, I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
Gravy Bones would have been
just
hot.
keep talking. You know?
I mean, Gravy Bones would have been hot ass against Enigma. So, like, thank God, like, you buy that Gravy Bones deck, and it's not your wards kill my allies and stick up, but my allies can't kill your wards. Like, that's the same thing all over again. Of that just would have been another deck that Enigma autos. So I'm glad she didn't. All the people that want to play a board state deck and try the new class aren't going to get. I don't think there's a solid 100-0 match like that would have been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee that happening either. So we'll see. You know, it an LL should grow and evolve as the game grows and evolves. What I also thought was really interesting was the I don't know, the thought experiment thing of how Skyward Serenade is misprinted, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, that's pretty wild to have that happen and then sit there and go like, well, what do we do about this? And then you go, well, we're a for-profit company, so let's just like not say anything, and then these things will sell. And then if it is actually too powerful, they'll sell more, and then that's good. So then hopefully it doesn't spiral out of control. You know, you just like are sitting there going, well, let's just fucking ride the lightning here on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, their hands were very tied as far as what they could do with the deck. You can't errata a new player centric product. So like erratas are out the window. You could ban something else.
Yeah, it's a really weird position to be in.
Ban Skizik.
No, I mean, and they even say in the video, like, they probably should have banned something to slow this down a bit. But I think that she just won more in PQ season than they expected. And like, I kind of agree. Like, I didn't expect her to LL this season just off PQs based on where she was ahead of time. But a lot of people played her. You know, she was the onboarding pipeline. She was powerful deck. Like, it makes sense that the volume came in the way that they wanted it to, but just maybe too well or like too much.
Yeah, they were too successful at making something that was fun and easy to play with.
Yeah, totally.
Which,
it's interesting that she's like kind of the next iteration of Ira in a way. Like Ira was like, a lot of our onboarding somewhat as far as like relatively simple to understand hero. Here's the welcome deck. They're free. Blitz is this fun, easy format. And then like go pick up a harder deck after or whatever. And then now they've kind of tried to do that with Aurora where it's like simple deck. Here's this, starter product. Here's your level up product. So it's kind of sad to see her go, honestly. Obviously they care a lot about Aurora and that's why they're going to bring her back maybe faster than normal, but
a year from right now.
A year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's the reason. It maybe is. I think just James does whatever he wants, basically. He's like said in that, like, Dromai's coming back. I don't know when, but I'm planning on bringing her back. He's just not inspired yet by that. And then
I think he's done a pretty good job, all things considered.
It's crazy to think where Living Legends started, where if you won 10 events with a hero, they would hit Living Legend.
Yeah, like could be limited events.
Yeah, like Bravo limited.
Yeah.
It's clearly not the right way to do that.
No, it's very so. It's a living system of hitting that status, but
Living system.
It's complicated. I mean, I think one of the things we chatted in the Discord was like, and I think this is true, is like we feel like they have this like complete control over the game because they design it, but like it's a highly complex system that they've created, and there's no real foolproof way to say like, if I do this, I know exactly the repercussions of what's going to happen. And, it's a chaotic system and people will find any exploits they can to, get that edge and make crazy combinations that they may not have thought of, or maybe they did, but didn't think was that good. It's always very interesting to think. I feel like we used to think this more as like, oh, they thought about this, but they know a counter, and we just haven't figured it out. But it's like, I don't think they know the counter.
No,
like
they don't know shit.
And they probably maybe found the really broken combination, but like, they're just like, no. It's like, it's not that bad, So it's hard to know anything other than what we guess and what they tell us. But
yeah, their narrative used to be like, oh yeah, we got guys on staff who are like, nobody plays like them. They're the best players in the world. To now it's like, well, we just have like a small team and sometimes we make mistakes,
Which is kind of a story about the game growing, because at the time they said it at the beginning, like, was probably partially true. But the game has gotten so big, and like we were saying last time, like everyone's just gotten so much better that it's like it's grown past their ability to test everything.
Yeah.
Especially when you're cranking out so many sets a year. It's a lot.
I think the Aurora Errata card too, the difference is one little bolded text and it's go again. And I think there's just a thought process for me of other armory decks or other cards in general, where which card goes from being, oh, maybe you play it in some cases, to must play by just writing go again at the bottom of it. And it's like probably 90% of the cards that exist in Flesh and Blood, if you write go again on them, they jump a whole letter grade up. So having that be the mistake that they told us about, and then other people did say, if it didn't have that, why would you even play that card? And it's like, well, you're trying to play it after a what is it called, Arc Lightning or a Current Funnel, and then you can get 3 of the 4 things just by using the natural synergies of Lightning. And then it's maybe a sideboard of, I need to play this in the huge blow up combo with Flicker Wisp stuff because it gives me more go agains. And then it would be like a, wow, that actually has some deck tension, instead of just, I can go draw this quickly and it thins my deck, gives me stuff, makes more damage. Everything is positive about Skyward Serenade. And I was playing this deck. I top 8'd with this in like November. And I think I told you guys already that like I ended up selling all of the Aurora deck after I wasn't really enjoying it in December because it was like we're changing up everything. And then it was just so expensive for every card where it was like, I think I was faced with the decision basically 2 months ago of here's the Aurora deck right in front of me. Do I want to spend another $40 to rebuild and change this deck, or do I want to sell out of it? And that was the thing where I was just like, I'll play Florian and sell out of this deck because these cards are so expensive. And I think that's a layer for this of I knew that Aurora was going to LL soon, and instead of being a part of it as long as possible, I was like, let me get out from under it as quickly as possible. And I don't know if that's an unintended thing of Living Legend, or I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than anybody. I'm trying to say that was a decision tree I chose. And it's weird because I think in other card games, like I played Hearthstone. There was rotation. I need to play this mill deck as much as possible because it's going to rotate. It wasn't like, let me find a new deck that I can play after rotation for this stuff. And I don't know why that changed in my mind. Is it just maybe if I had more money, I would go, oh, who cares? I'll play Aurora till the very end. And I'm sure the people that did play Aurora and say like, oh my God, she made me a better player. She gave me my highest finishes. I'll miss her till my dying breath. I can understand that as well.
And like you said, people like winning.
And
That's
people
true.
like playing cards, and she gets
to play a lot of cards.
You just play the cards. You even get a block and get those cards back to then play them. You know,
she does some crazy things. Like it's wild and not surprising that she already hit LL. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. We could be in a situation where they ban something and then she just sticks around weirdly and is like kind of annoying, so it feels like the system did what it's intended to do. Yeah, which like they've said, it's like, it's not a pressure release, but it fucking is, man. Yeah. Like the very like, end of the day and the very short version of it, it's like, someone goes, dude, oh my God, he's drinking high seas. Like he's a pirate.
I saw it when you took a sip and I was like, no way.
This guy
didn't even realize what the fuck.
He's two pirates in a trench coat dressed like Taylor. God. Like what the fuck?
Cheap thrills. This is not very good. So hopefully that's not telling. Yeah.
This is not product placement.
Yeah.
We don't. But anyways, yeah. I think we talked about having an greater LL discussion in a couple episodes. So maybe we'll come back and delve deeper into it. Maybe think of other alternatives or updates. But I agree. I don't think it's something we want to. I don't think rotation sounds better.
Definitely not.
I think it's nice that I could still like put together a Bravo deck if I fucking wanted to, like
totally
a relic of the old times.
Relic of another time, yeah. All right, what else we got? We're gonna talk about Project Blue for 10 minutes.
No.
All right, we're not talking about it.
Let's come back to Project Blue later.
All right, we'll talk about it later.
Like later this episode or later in a podcast?
At a later date.
No. All right, sick. Zayne knows something we don't. Love it.
It's already been canceled. Don't worry about it. They misprinted. It's actually Project Brute, and it's an all Brute set that they're releasing later.
It's all blue sixes.
Yeah, it's only blue sixes.
Project Blue 6?
Yeah. They haven't unveiled the full name.
Seeing Blake's blissed out face is priceless.
We'll all be there. We'll all get like really drunk the day they release a blue 6 for Brute.
Can you imagine if it happens?
I mean, it could be next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday could be the day.
Oh my God, the streets will. It'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. All right, let's move on. Colin, tell us about what the hell we're talking about today as our main topic.
today, in classic fashion, I'm going to delegate the task of the main topic to you guys. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to contribute to you. No, I thought, I've been trying to make my little comeback into playing. I have always been someone who has struggled to stick with a hero. I feel like I'm enticed by new things. I like learning new things. I like acquiring new things, I think is the unhealthy part of this. I've really gotten tickled Taylor somehow, but it's this the pirate life in him that's coming up. But it's so I thought like what would be fun is just like, why don't you guys sell me on your hero? Sell the audience, sell our listeners on your favorite deck right now or in general, and give us the pitch on why it's fun, what you get to do that you like, because I feel like that's a big element. Sometimes it's like I get to draw cards, I get to shuffle a lot, I get to put a lot of things down and play with a lot of dice. There's a lot of physical elements to playing different heroes, which I think is one of the greatest parts of the Flesh and Blood system, is the many ways you get to kind of like play with this one deck of cards, and each hero in class kind of represents that differently. So I just wanted to dig deep into our fun times and tell me why it's fun. So that being said, Zayne, I want to hear you tell me about your favorite hero or deck.
We were distinctly not told the order ahead of time, so there was some tension in that moment. All right. You talk about acquiring new things. You talk about touching a lot of cards. You talk about looking at stuff. Well, I have the perfect hero for you, Colin. It's Azalea. It's Azalea, ace in the hole. You don't like your 4-card hand? That's fine. You get access to the top 2 cards of your deck because you're Azalea. So when I was thinking about my favorite deck, like if we include all the LL decks, I don't know if Azalea is my answer. It's close though. Like it's very close. Like I like this deck a lot. Of the legal heroes, it's between Azalea and New for sure. But I think a lot of people have a negative feeling about New, and Taylor's going to probably talk about Assassin. So I'm going to go with Azalea. So on her face, right? She's a ranger hero. Everyone immediately thinks of Red in the Ledger, which is funny because it's literally a sideboard card. It's like not good in a lot of matchups. But she's kind of a Rune Blade when you like actually are playing the deck, in the sense that you have like a combination of a few things, right? It kind of reminds me of the Mauve Shrill Viscerai, where you need your non-attacks, you need your attacks, and then you need a pitch card. It's kind of similar. She can function without a pitch card, which is pretty great. But I think part of what makes Azalea fun is just like the toolbox, like how unique the arrows are. The arrow effects are so powerful, like fatigue shot, hamstring shot, infecting shot, sleep dart. Like these are commons, right? Like just normal arrows that all the rangers have access to, but nobody uses quite as well as Azalea, because she can dominate them and tutor them up with knock. So I think that's what keeps me coming back to the ranger class more than anything, is just, and Azalea specifically, is all these like choices you get to make with your deck building, and then in game, like, do I need to gamble on a blind Azalea here? Like, do I trust the blind card beneath this opt? Do I keep this on top? Do I take the blue arrow on top and dominate it? Do I play for the bottom card? And then the crazy part is you still get to play D-Reacts. Like a lot of people don't play D-Reacts in Azalea, but I'm a disciple of Levi Rauch, the OG Azalea GOAT. who likes to play D-Rex and Azalea, and I agree. Like I always am playing tar pit traps. I'm generally playing sink belows, because I think just lengthening the game with a weapon that says draw a card on it is just a way to like drown your opponent in value. And that's my sales pitch on why I love playing Azalea Ace in the Hole. Do you guys have any questions about Azalea?
I don't know if I have any questions. I started playing your Azalea deck sometime last year. I was playing a little bit. I took it with me to Pro Tour Los Angeles. I was playing it in some side events. It was fun. Like, it's definitely one of those high touch kind of decks. Like, if you like fiddling around with all your shit, like, you get to do that, and that's fun. You're like, oh, I get to opt, cool. Like, oh, I get to opt again. Like, it's like all this shit. Like, and it's I found it very easy to just get kind of caught up in that and forget like that I had to have to do things in a good order, because I could really easily screw myself over if I kind of like did one thing before the other, and it's like, oh shit, no, I needed to do that first so I have the card there so that I could do this. But yeah, it's fun. I'm curious, did you play Azalea when you first started playing Flesh and Blood? Nice.
Yep. Back when there was like 2 to 3 pumps total in the whole game, which is crazy to think about. Like
Didn't
we look
you
at
bring Azalea to the first Nats?
and I brought Death Dealer Alexi to the first Nats.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was basically an Azalea deck, but it was just
Nobody brought Azalea to the first net. She was trash back then.
No, I mean, but like genuinely terrible. Like, so when we look at like the timeline of her pumps, right? Like, most people are familiar with her pumps, right? We got Seek and Destroy, the 9 Laces, Premeditate, Read the Glide Path, and Release the Tension. Those are the classics, or like the main ones you know now. None of those. None. Until Tales of Ario, you get one of them. You get Seek and Destroy. And then Everfest, you get 2 more. You get Release the Tension and Read the Glide Path. And that was it, like, for a long time. And then Outsiders came and they just dropped the 12 best ones, the 9 Laces and the Premeditate. And it was just like, finally, this deck makes sense. Like, because before that, you were playing Nimbleism, Come to Fight, Force Sight if you were really desperate. It was ugly.
Don't play Foresight. Yeah, I lost to an Azalea in San Jose that was doing all go again attacks and then ending with an arrow, and that was like I hadn't seen that because I'm used to dominating arrow, and there were some people trying to make Azalea work in 2020. I think that's still 2022, and it was like you had to be dedicated, and now it has been like if I'm playing against you and I don't know what I'm going to do, it's pretty hard to beat Azalea.
Yeah,
I mean,
you used to also be able to just be like, I'll just fucking block, and then you'll run out of arrows, and that's a tried and true way to beat you, and that now does not happen. It can, but that Azalea player has to be kind of bad.
You get
it
6
can happen.
shots at arrows.
Yeah. I mean, the anti-fatigue game planning as Azalea is like also very fun to execute. Which again was like popularized by Levi, but like the setting up a pitch stack or like an end game state, which again is easier to set up and get to as Azalea because you're opting so much. But getting to an end game state where like your final 5 to 6 cards are like 3 arrows and 2 rain razors, where 2 of the arrows are bolt and shot, and then keeping your gloves online, where like you can send a turn of like, here's, ideally like 30 if one of them's an endless arrow, where people like, you've been sending these like middling turns and they think they can fatigue you, and then you just go 8 8 8 8 to end the game. It's very satisfying when you get to do it.
All right. What is your favorite non-attack action, attack action, weapon, and equipment for Azalea?
Okay, I'm going to go backwards.
Top 4. Yeah.
Yeah, so favorite equipment is bullseye bracers. This is close because cross wrapping is so fun. And I love cross wrapping, but Bullseye Bracers is just like where the creativity in the Azalea is like really shines. Like when you Bullseye Bracer, like some games you just get forced into Bullseye Bracering like for value, which sucks. But when you get to use them like as they're intended, they're so fun. Favorite weapon is Death Dealer. It's actually the only weapon Azalea can play. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Redline?
Is it really?
That's a joke. It's
No,
I'm just it's a deny. I'm denying the other ones existing. No, like
Dreadbore.
Dreadbore, Sandscour, Redliner, technically options. Dreadbore has a place. Sandscour has a place, but I'm a Death Dealer main through and through.
what
Believer.
I know you have no tattoos, but you should get Death Dealer, so then
Dealer.
you can do this. Yeah.
I'll activate Death Dealer.
Every time.
Yeah, I'll be very sad when both Azalea and Death Dealer leave. I love that weapon. Favorite attack action is probably going to surprise people, but Fatigue Shot. Fatigue Shot is, I don't know if I've talked about it in the pod, maybe I have, but it's my favorite arrow. I think it's like so unique and cool, that effect. Like I don't think anyone else can do anything.
What does it do again?
When it hits a hero, the base attack of the first attack action card they play their next turn is halved. So it turns the CNCs into 3,
Zayne beat the shit out of me once at an AGE, hitting me with 6 of those at a 25 life lead. And he's like, I'll just hit you with Fatigue Shot where you can't block one of it every time. And it's like, oh, I have a Righteous Cleansing ready to come in. Should I swing it for 5 or should I?
Yep.
There's no way he has a
It's-
Fatigue
it's
Shot
a-
next time. Oh,
it's a-
I'll go ahead and Codex a Fatigue Shot in here and let's pump it up and dominate it.
It's a very frustrating card to play against. I understand that.
So wait, Blake, was this you punching Zayne in the face through the camera, or how Zayne?
He was trying.
punched
He was
you?
trying to, but his damage was halved.
I couldn't reach.
Oh, it's too good. This is a good pod.
And then,
And then
did you
non-attack.
Yeah.
It's not fair because we're in the Ranger class. So the favorite
of
non-attack
Frailty.
action is Codex of Frailty.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say pre-med because it also has.
If it's a
Azalea
pump, it's
on
pre-med. I do love pre-med. Premeditate's my favorite pump by a mile. But yeah, favorite non-attack action. Come on.
What if
it's Codex.
what if we reprinted Plunder Run but had it only work for Rangers, but made it generic?
But made it majestic too, so you can't run 9. So it's smart. Good design.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sold. I'm sold.
All right, great.
Podcast over.
That's today's
Yeah, I
episode.
don't care what the rest of you guys have to say now. Definitely, I still have her built, and I would consider bringing her out again. I feel like when I did it, I was just very immediately like, oh, I am doing this wrong every time I go to do all the like the 3 or 4 things you do like every turn. I just kept doing the wrong and most like unoptimal way, and it was just like, fuck. Okay,
It's a punishing deck. It's
Yeah.
a punishing deck.
but I tend to like that kind of deck. So, what does that say about me? Don't answer that question. Next up is my friend Blake, who's going to tell me about
I mean,
Teklo
now
Wilson.
now that Zayne said all that, it's like I've only played this deck for like three days, but it was very interesting watching Kassai come out of nowhere and win a battle hardened. Oh my goodness. Back in the day, before Kassai was even out, we had a couple of her cards, and I built her very, very aggro heavy. And then somebody in our meta named Young Colin played a very defensive Kassai deck and literally stole any kind of enjoyment I had out of my initial thing. I even had the, what's it called? The hood where you put your cards back in your deck and draw them. And that was just a free
Hope
2
Merchant's Hood.
resources. Hope Merchant's Hood to go grab something. And like now it's not that. But anyway, I looked at this list from Andrew Rothermel, and it's very interesting. I would recommend it. I'll send you the link, Colin. Go ahead and click it. Just kidding. It just click at your own leisure. What is interesting about this is the 8 draw swords, and I think this will be a what happens here of like, do you believe in draw swords, or some people are very like, this is super clunky. So what draw swords is doing is you have to pay 3, but then you draw a card, which makes your swords free. So you would only ever play this in Kassai, because that's how you get the resources back. It's actually a 1 cost pump if you think of it like that. And look, you got +3, +2, +1. And these are cards you block with too, so it's very versatile. But what's interesting about the draw swords...
I was just doing your math. +3, +2, +1 is 6.
Yeah, red, blue, yellow, red, yellow, blue. Okay, so what's really cool about the draw swords is if you draw one of your 0 costs go again, which there's so many of, you play the 0 cost go again, and then you can swing the first sword and the second sword without pitching again. And I think that is there's a lot of deck building that I don't think happens in Flesh and Blood, because everyone does the quickest, most powerful, most degenerate, most like go to the upteenth degree of like, I'm going to build a fatigue deck as fatiguey as possible, but do those fatigue decks, is there some still juice to squeeze of like, it's actually better if you put in these couple of potions? And probably a potion would make sense in a lot of those things. It seems like Andrew Rothermel has done all of the stuff, because a card in here for him is Seduce Secrets. And that's a card that nobody has touched. Everyone was like, who cares about this? And some people are like, well, all I saw him do was pitch with it. But I was using it last night pretty effectively of, if I take the time and set this up, it is a 5-card hand, because you're going to play it from Arsenal. You look at your opponent's hand. You can see how they're going to be able to block you. Look at their next card. I don't know why they put that on the card, but great. Then you draw a card. All your swords are free. It's like you pitched the yellow instead of played it. Then it's in your graveyard to do the hero power on. And like, everything about Seduce Secrets is great, because if you look at your opponent's hand and they don't have D-Reacts, you're like, great. Boom, 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 boom. If they do have D-Reacts, you're like, great. Boom, 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 boom. I need them to use all those. And then I think the thing that I fell in love with yesterday that I never did a year ago was I had never resolved Raise an Army correctly. And there was, I played a Jarl yesterday and I played a Verdance yesterday. And in both of those, I had multiple Centauri Sellswords up for multiple turns. Okay, I didn't draw a go again. That kind of sucks. But then one time I did. And you're swinging a sword. You're giving it a go again. You're swinging Centauri Sellsword 1, 2, and 3. Then there's a sword at the end. And that's 2 + 3 + 3 + 3 + 2 damage.
13.
Which is crazy. And like, I think the other thing about this is that's not even your best turn, because I think out of any Flesh and Blood card that I personally have played, what is the most consistent, most damaging, most threatening by far? Like, I feel like a god when I play it, is Blood on Her Hands. And if your opponent is not focused on keeping you off copper, and you have, honestly, you only need 3 copper right now. So your opponent has to block every single Spoils of War correctly, or then there's another one, Outsider, whatever the heck.
Outlander.
You guys nailed it. But once you have 4, there's so much other stuff, because now Sharpened Senses, I think that was the game breaker for it of, oh, I don't have to say go again on my swords if I give enough damage to it using buff 1 on the same thing. Sharpened Senses now gives that one go again, and then I just have to save 1 go again for my 4th swing at the end. And what happened earlier, it's a Talishar game last night. I was having so much fun on a Tuesday night. I came home and played it some more. I played against a Syndra, which I think is another option. You should look at, Colin. Played against a Syndra, and it was a race the whole time. We were not blocking, except whenever they had D-Rex. I don't remember if I played D-Rex. There's not a sideboard guide. But I had Blood on Her Hands ready to go with the Sharpened Senses and a Spoils of War. I went down to like 2 health from like 20. Because I was like, I don't care. She got the Mask of Momentum trigger. I had, I think, 3 copper up. I was like, okay, here we're gonna go. They let me hit every single 4 sword and blocked out some of it. So I got 8 copper. I drew the Blood on Her Hands immediately the next turn too, and played Blood on Her Hands. They immediately conceded of like, fuck this shit. I did 26 damage on the Sharpened Senses. Make 8 copper turn, and it was like this is the most insane thing. If your opponent does not respect, and I think that's super strong for a warrior deck that has a bunch of blocks as well, because I didn't even mention the greatest thing is Dynamo. Now I can block the first 0 for 4 every turn instead of going, oh crap, I ran out of equipment block. Your first 0 for 4 after turn 5 is going to get through. Well, now I can block it. For some reason, it's absolutely awful against assassins, and I haven't figured that out yet. But everything else is great. So that's Kassai, Golden Sand.
I think I have to make a public apology now because I've given Blake a lot of shit for playing Kassai against me before she was fully released.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry because she brings you joy, and that's great. This is. You got me thinking about warrior in a different way as a famously anti-Dori person / warrior hater. I'd fuck with it. It sounds fun.
It's very different than Dori.
And I fatigued a Jarl, and it was like, how's this happening? Because they can't not block because your hero's getting gold. They can't let gold happen because then you can make dudes. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But even
Blake,
more now.
Make gold, make dude. Let's go.
Blake, I have
You
a
should
question
get that
about
tattooed.
Blake, you need to tell me how this deck works. There is 4 Blade Runners total.
Mm-hmm.
When Kassai famously, people
Runs
memed
9.
it as the Blade Runner deck. How does this deck function without yellow Blade Runner or red Blade Runner? It runs 1 yellow, but effectively without them.
I think that's in the sideboard too. Okay, so here's what made sense. There was a couple times where it was like, oh crap, I don't have go again. But I would say Sharpened Senses is a face-up yellow Blade Runner. Run Through is actually Blade Runner.
Yeah, that's true.
So instead of 12 copies, you have 7. Sharpened Senses kind of gets the rest. Unsheathed is better than Red Blade Runner at all times because Unsheathed onto a 2 damage sword is never going to not go. And
Frailty
that's
trap.
But it counts at the beginning as I swing it, not afterwards. So if you do Codex of Frailty, it's a big fucking pain in my ass. So don't play that card. That's what I'm struggling with is whenever you have a Frailty thing, and the magic number for Dawnblade for all this effects are 7, but magic number for swords is 5. Centauri Saber is 5. And that's super sick with Unsheathed is just, it's 2 + 3. Here we go. And then what's cool about Sharpened Senses, which I don't think is easy if you don't know it, when you buff and Sharpened Senses is up, it's counting even the buffs afterwards. Because Unsheathed doesn't count the buffs, but Sharpened Senses does. Why are they different? Why did they come out? And so when you're swinging Centauri Saber and you have Sharpened Senses up, when you play Blade Flurry, it's perfect. It's 5 and 5.
Math. The deck is math.
I thought I literally disconnected. So I was like,
You froze for a second there.
You did.
okay.
The deck is
one
math.
thing I would like to say after hearing all of that, and especially from Andrew Rothermel's build, kind of what you said, Blake, is I think we have less or it's an example of when like you built a deck to do a thing and it's just doing the thing really good. You know what I mean? Like not fatigue, not damage. It's like we're going all in on making sure we draw cards because free swords is better than pay swords, you know? And then if I have free swords,
But pay swords and free swords are not better than sell swords.
And if I have free swords, what kind of jazz does that open me up to, you know? And I think that's really important in this game is
Free
keeping
jazz?
those things and is being able to free jazz on everybody's face.
I think what's crazy too is there's a lot of people that don't want to see cell swords. And like I was playing a Verdance in round 2, and I don't think you're supposed to beat wizards on warrior that often. And I resolved 2 cell swords, and then it was like I'm gonna use my pings from my health to shoot 1, 2, the third one went over, and then a 6 damage spell to kill the cell sword. And it blocked effectively 9 damage from coming at me. And it's like, holy crap. And then Jarl is killing him one at a time whenever he like, let me get rid of like winners bite you and then hit your cell sword. And you're like, okay, that kind of sucks, but it's damage that's not coming to me. And it's cards that I think what's crazy is, why is it fatiguing better than like the fatigue Dori deck I was playing? And you're like, oh, the on hits matter so much more, which is crazy because Dawnblade.
I love this turn you have in your personality, Blake, where you're a warrior guy now, dude. You're Blake Warrior Meyer. BWM.
I mean, it was always his backup class, you know.
The
Or
Dread
his
Warrior Blake.
second class.
Yeah, it was Brute and Warrior, and then Icelander. Just most of my shit. Bolton and Dori. Reinhardt.
I have one funny anecdote about Kassai that should not matter to anyone but me, but I'm going to tell it because it's funny. I loved the old Blitz Kassai, like the old hero text before we got adult Kassai.
That's
And
amazing.
we had blood on her hands for her, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I had my 2 foil copies, and I brought them with me to Lille, France, to get them signed. And I have 2 foil signed blood on her hands. And it bugs me so much that I need 3. It bugs me so much that the third one is not signed and doesn't match.
You can send them to me, I guess.
I had my Blitz deck, blood on her hands. All right, that's all.
I think
That is a Zayne story.
the
Why isn't my set signed? Fuck, I can't.
It's
play
worse
this
that
deck
2 of them are signed. I would like.
I think I picked blood in her hand on her hands in an art draft back in the day. It was a pick of mine.
I think so. Yeah.
the
Crazy one.
Kassai Blitz deck with the old hero power is probably the best math deck that's ever existed for me playing Fab. Of everything perfectly works out.
You're just
and-
a sword guy, dude. You're a sword guy. Have been this whole time. You love swords.
And that's, I think, the difference of why am I not talking about how much I love Reinhardt right now. I think when you play decks that are so consistent and can do the most consistent shit of like, I'm going to get a dynamo counter every time. I'm going to draw every time. I'm going to give go again every time. When you play it's not even a high roll. It's like a statistics deck of 67% of the chance you will do a bunch of damage to your opponent. Anytime you hit 33 on Reinhardt and you've been playing a Florian or a Dori or a Kassai, you're like, this is maddening. Like, how did I do this for 2 years? Of play the consistent stuff because you can't get 67% chance all day long in Lille or Orlando or Minneapolis.
I have
Why did you say-
67% of my blood on her hands signed.
Why didn't you say Minneapolis? Weird.
It's
Doesn't
weird to
deserve
talk
it.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already
didn't-
weird.
I didn't want to mess with the space-time continuum and send my aunt that lives there off into the freaking vortex.
Are you a wizard?
Probably in some cultures hundreds of years ago.
All right, that was great. Let's do the rundown. What's your favorite? They don't play attack action.
My favorite attack action is nothing.
Yeah, or we'll do attack reaction,
Ooh.
non-attack action, equipment, and
Weapon.
weapon. Yeah, my brain.
Okay, my favorite weapon is Centauri Saber. I don't think
Which
you
one?
even try to mess with hot
Yeah,
string.
which
I
direction?
honestly, I did 2 left hands, and the people were like, "Are you gonna get a right hand?" I was like, "Actually, if you're gonna ask me about it, no, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna freaking mess you guys up." Honestly, instead of saying Dynamo, the best equipment is Grains of Blood Spill, and I think this is a learning experience for anybody that has not played the class. Grains of Blood Spill, as soon as Tunic is banned, I think Warrior will have like, oh shit, like we have the best replacement for Tunic. Because what it does is if I hit you with any kind of weapon, it doesn't matter if it's an axe, a dagger, or a sword. It's the only time any time is ever written, and probably on Brazers too. So equipment does have this stuff, but there's some equipment that's like, oh, only swords. Anytime I hit you, I can pay 1 extra and put the resource next time. And that's what's crazy about this deck is if you have a 0 cost buff in your arsenal that you just somehow get in there and I have an extra resource, I'm going to Grains. You can block 9 to 12 of your hand and then still have that Vigor token up to swing a Centauri Saber and then buff from arsenal. So if you're showing hero power, let me just get some of these reds and yellows into my banish zone, and you're swinging the 2 damage sword with your Vigor token, your opponent's like, well, I was just going to take 2, but now if I just take 2, I'm going to get a gold. You're going to get a gold token. And I think that extra pressure of the 1 resource coming back to haunt you if you don't block is another on hit that you always have to be aware of. And it's so much stronger than even +1 damage that Abracers could do. Like if the more Vigor tokens you're getting from Grains, you're kicking someone's ass. Okay, so let's do non-attack action would be it's like Blood on Her Hands barely over the Raisin Army. But like Raisin Army, I think it is such a like backbreaking thing. But Blood on Her Hands is your let's play for this the whole time and crush you. And then I think most people would pick Blade Flurry, but my favorite reaction, and I miss this so much because you can never play it in Dori, is In the Swing. And it's a 0 for 3 that can always come down, but only if it's your second or further attack with a sword. And that is you're used to my reactions having conditional things, or they come in for 2, or they cost 1 to do 3. What if I did 0 cost for 3? It's like the best of every world, and its condition is swing on the second time, but you're just playing it in the deck that always swings twice. So it is kind of you've been used to blocking out against other warriors that don't have this option available to them, but now I do have this option, and it's going to get me 2 copper and a gold and a Vigor token if you don't block correctly. And then as soon as they go, God, I lose to In the Swing, I'll block an extra 3. You go, I'll arsenal my In the Swing for next turn. And they're like, gotcha. It's just like inevitable stuff. And then I think that's it. I mean, it's got reactions or defense reactions and instance, but nothing too different besides Seduce Secrets.
Sick. That was awesome. I think I like what you talked about Grains of Blood Spill, because I've always thought that card was really cool. It felt, I don't know, it felt powerful even though it wasn't super obvious to me how powerful it was. I also feel like Valiant Dynamo is like a reason to play Warrior. Yeah. You're just like, I get to do this like one kind of fucked up, awesome, powerful thing over and over again, which is really tight.
And I
Walk
have
with
both
your
of those in cold
shins.
foil, so it looks kind of cool too.
Fucking block with my shins. Everyone does. They're very strong.
That's my favorite
That's-
band from junior high.
That's why they don't need pads.
So that youth soccer you played, strengthening your shins.
Yeah, just kicking each other in the shins the whole time. All right. Well, thank you, Blake. Writing down Kassai. It sounds fun. Honestly, Fang had me already thinking Warrior, considering Warrior. I don't know why. It just was kind of fun. But Kassai also sounds a lot of fun. I'm gonna try it out.
Plus,
They have similarities for sure.
Yeah. Playing
plus it's only
reactions is
$1,350. But I'm not playing Iowa Fidia, so maybe that makes it $1,000 even.
Yeah. I think I do have Valiant Dynamo. I don't know if I sold. I opened one. I don't know if I sold it. Maybe I did. Well, I'll just be playing on
you
Talishar.
probably
It's
have
free.
most of this deck, honestly.
Yeah, I think I do. Maybe
There's
not
not a lot of new
Unsheathed.
stuff. There's Unsheathed and Sharpened Senses. You probably don't, but
Seduce
Actually,
Secrets went
Sharpened
from
Senses, was that from Mist?
no, it's from Hunted.
Hunted.
Oh,
just
Hunted.
now, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a shunted card.
I think I have at least one of them.
Seduce Secrets just went from like 15 cents to $8 each or some bullshit. So good luck on that.
Thanks, Andy.
Dude, $8 is nothing.
Yeah, let's talk about expensive decks. Taylor, tell me what you got. Sell me into poverty.
Okay, well, first off, you should just not play Arakni Marionette, is what I'm going to say. It is not cost effective whatsoever. But
Yeah, that's what this episode is all about. Don't play what we're saying.
well, no, like if you're like, oh, if after what I say you're like, oh, fucking Assassin sounds cool, I'm gonna go do that, and then you just can't get mad at me for then it being expensive. Okay, I'm just putting that disclaimer out there. That's all I'm saying. You kind of have to be a sicko if you like Arakni Marionette, because you have to be okay with your micro decisions having giant consequences in the game. And it's a little hard sometimes to parse together what that decision was that led you down potentially a weird path. Like last night I was playing against Florian, and there's like two moments in the game where I hit with Bonds and I get a look at his hand, the three cards in his hand, and I'm like trying to think of all the lines my opponent can do with those and trying to figure out what I want to have happen the least and take the card that then makes it so they play the line I'm happy with. And it was like a blue and Germinate and E-Strike were the cards. And I took the E-Strike because I was like, I don't want to have to, my life total's too low. I don't want to have to give up two cards. So at most here, they're like going to send less than that. It's going to be 6 damage. Because it was, what is it? It's Germinate. What's the one? Condemned to Slaughter. Is that it? Gives your Rune Blade attacks +1,
Yep.
right? Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what it is. It's Condemned to Slaughter and Dread Triptych, and then Germinate is in Arsenal. So I get one of those cards, and I'm like, I'm just going to take E-Strike, blah, blah, blah. But so then he plays Germinate from Arsenal or some shit. I don't know. I didn't foresee this happening, that he was going to just make fucking 8 rune chance and gain whatever life, and I was going to have all of my cards in my hand, And I just happened to draw 4 cards that was like not the most impactful. Like I would have liked to have blocked a little and then sent a small hand, which would have been a better turn cycle for me. But instead I had to like figure out how to convert that hand. So that kind of was like a weird moment in that game. And then there was another moment where I have bonds again, but my third, or no, I have persuasive and Justinic, and I'm funnel web, and I have the cards to get that sucker to 9, and my opponent blocked in a way that said I have a D react, so they only covered 6, and I'm like, well, surely you do the math here, right? Because like I'm maybe showing more than that. And so I had to sit there and go like, okay, are they bluffing or not bluffing? Is this person a bluffer? Because if I hit with this, that would be pretty sick. But the card I'm discarding is one of my dagger pumps that's a 0 for 4. And I'm going to give it only 3 value here. And if that misses, then that sucks because I could have just arsenaled it and get its full value. So anyway, so all that's going through my head. So I pass on further reactions. Turns out he did not have a D react, and I got out bluffed. And then those 2 decisions like lose me the game. You know what I mean? So you have to be a sicko who enjoys those moments, right? Like I went into deep, stupid, boring radio detail about how those turns played out, and you have to like that. You just innately have to like that. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is you get to deny your opponent playing the game on 2 axes. Like you get to like block their cards, and then you get to send back cards that say like, hey dude, if you want to take any of this damage, I'm going to mess with whatever you got in your hand, in your arsenal, what you got in your pocket, etc. Like I'm going to mess with it, and makes it so then they have to block you. Right. So that's like Win Assassin, I think, is the best, or Arakni Marionette. And then you have the whole, okay, well, now you have a mini game where you're like, okay, I'm trying to mark you, dude. Like, you want to take this?
You're trying to get marked?
1. You're trying to get marked right now, dog? You're going to take this 1? Oh, okay, cool. You're going to block that. That's pretty good. You're going to take this 5? You got to give me 2 cards or take 5 damage, So you have like all of these like little stupid, annoying questions that they then have to like answer. And then you're like, okay, cool. You block that. I'm going to do this thing, that also says, hey, you got to block this. Right. But then when you do mark them, when you're like, I'm winning the mini game, you then get to transform randomly into a different hero and have a slightly different hero power. And then you get to play the fun part of like, yeah, I know exactly what this text says and the nuance of it. And they have to like grab that card and read it. And then they set it down, and then they have to grab it and read it again and then set it down. And then they grab it and read it a third time and then ask you a question. And you're like,
too late.
Maybe.
You're already in the spin cycle, baby.
Yeah, totally. And so there's like there's these little nuanced bits of it that are really fun, because a lot of them say like assassin attack, and if it has stealth, it does this. Like you can juice someone on, okay, well, here comes, I have 1 card in hand, and here comes leave no witness, right? And they're like, oh, it doesn't have stealth. Well, I'll just de-react from arsenal. And then you're like, okay, cool. Hero power, give it +3. Or they de-react from hand, right? And they still have an arsenal card. And then you go, okay, hero power, give it +3. Take your arsenal unless that's a de-react. And they're like, but it doesn't have stealth. I'm like, yeah, but that's just the extra in quotation text. It still gets +3 because it's an assassin attack, discarding an assassin card. So then you get their arsenal. So you have like little moments of that where you go, hee hee hee. I don't know if this sounds fun or not, but it's so fun. I don't know. What else? What else is really fun about Arakni Marionette? It's fun having 6 different heroes to transform into. Like, that's really fun. And none of them are really that bad. You know, I think people get really caught up in the power rankings, and it like doesn't matter. They're all like super useful. But then if you're like,
Trapdoor.
no, Trapdoor is sick, dude. Trapdoor is sick. It is an unsung part of it because you can transform into Trapdoor, get your trap, then use your hat. Oh, wait, you're right. Yeah, you get a cool hat that says if they're marked, you get to transform into whatever best friend you want to transform into. And then so now you have your trap, and then you transform into a really sick best friend, and you have a 5th arsenal card or a 6th card to just block with, right? So now I can get that little bit of value and be really offensive all in the same go, you know? And that's
true.
That's fucking fun as hell. And you get to play really cool cards like Bonds of Agony. So aptly named too, because you just go bonds and you hold a bunch of cards and then you stare down at your lap because you're trying not to smirk at your opponent when you're like, there's no way you can play around this. There's just no way. I have too many cards. You're going to make the wrong choice. You know? That's really fun. You get to play Codex, which, as we know, is 4,000 points of value, which is really great. And you get to do more fun stuff with Codex now, too, because now you have these dagger pumps to get your daggers to 5. You can then dagger pump Codex, go get Smooch of Death, and now Smooch of Death is pumped from Codex, and you've given Disease, and then get a Ponder. So fun.
Bonds is a crazy card.
Dude,
Bonds is
it's
nuts.
crazy.
I
It's crazy.
genuinely wonder if it's going to be on the ban list.
I doubt it because it requires a lot to make it pop off.
It does, but it's on my radar as something that could possibly be on the ban list.
You can just block 12 and say, okay. Right?
How much?
Not when you're playing Prism and your hand's full of instants.
You cannot do that a lot of the time.
Well, then just play all your instants. Oh, it's at 77? That's
Jeez.
crazy. Yeah, see, exactly.
$150 weapons to start those. Why is that like that?
It's a fucked up world. That's why I caveated with that. Briefly though, if Smooch of Death is your favorite card and you love Blood Rots, then you should play Arakni Slip Through the Cracks. Because that is fun as hell when you go Smooch of Death, Spike with Blood Rot, it has Go Again, some other attack, flick the Kiss of Death because it's a dagger, and now you get more Blood Rots. If you're like, I want to just give you Blood Rot disease, then you should play Arakni Slip Through the Cracks.
I forgot this was the dagger attack card. That's so crazy.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's wild.
I want more of that.
It's the
every
coolest
set
card
moving
in
forward.
the set. It's the coolest card in the set, for sure. It's like a wild idea that I thought was corny and stupid at first, and it's the coolest, most utilitarian card that also has text on it, which is also nuts. Then if you want to do mostly none of this fun stuff, but you want to pick up your opponent's card and look at it and spend an agonizing amount of time in your life learning if you should keep that card on the top or put it on the bottom and get 0.5% value out of being good at making that decision, then you should play Huntsman. That's also really fun.
So you got like a 3-for-1 here.
Well, my hero Arakni Marionette is already a 1-for-6.
That's true. Okay, so you got 9 for 1.
Yeah,
I mean, it's 7, right? Because you have a base form.
Totally, which is also fun. This is the last thing I will say about it, is I think I could play this hero for the rest of my life and never get bored. Because all of a sudden I will mark you, transform into a hero, and then the composition of my hand versus the hero I'm playing in the game state will really be something I've seen either rarely or never. And you're like, okay, I got to figure this out. How do I play out of this very specific scenario? And that's very fun. So there you go.
Is Assassin the hero that requires the most interaction from your opponent? Is that what you just said in different words?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's always really fun to play a bunch of reactions too, right? Like that's fun to play in the reaction window, both of you, because there's posturing, you're interacting, etc. That is also a good time.
Play Razor Reflex and Azalea, Zane.
We used to. Dude, we used to.
I got owned by Oscar at Wildcard Cyclone. The first one was really annoying. The second one, I was like, if he has it, I lose. I'll play Razor Reflex, and you're like, Gah!
Sick. All right, Taylor.
All right, Colin.
Let's hear it. Favorite. I guess you've got. All right,
yeah. How are you gonna figure this out?
We're just gonna give you an extra one.
Ooh.
So favorite attack, non-attack, reaction, equipment, and I guess weapons are given, but I guess you can pick.
No, it's not. I have a bunch of different weapons.
That's true.
Could be different. Could be different.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Favorite non-attack. To be different than Zayne, I'm gonna go Savor Bloodshed, aka Sexy Knife Time.
Saber
Really
Bloodshed
fun.
is bullshit. Of like
It's
it's just basically do 4 damage to your opponent and draw a card, which is snatch, but harder to
Yeah.
block.
Yeah.
What?
It's so cool. Favorite reaction? That's a tough one. No, it's not. Just kidding. It's Take Up the Mantle. That card's fucking crazy. It's copies 4, 5, and 6 of Bonds of Agony, which is so cool. Or you can do dumb shit where you're like, I'm going to play Savor Bloodshed into Kiss of Death. Oh, no, wait. I'm going to Take Up the Mantle, and now it's Bonds, and now Bonds comes in for 17. Get fucked.
It's in for 17.
Favorite attack action card? I think we already heard about it. It's Smooch of Death. So good. So good. Favorite equipment? Probably Flick Knives now. Flick Knives is crazy. I love Flick Knives. You're
Normal
flicking.
Tie will come back and mess those up, dude.
Yeah, it sucks. That would suck. But it's really fun getting to throw knives. Like that's another reason to play the deck is like you're throwing Smooch of Death, you're throwing your daggers, you get to make a Calypsora, you get to throw that, you get to pick up your dagger, throw it again. Like throwing daggers is so fun now than it used to be back in the day when you're like, all right, I'm going to do this one time and it better be good. And you're just sitting there going, well, yeah, the math on this is you get 2 value out of equipment. That's good. I flick my one knife one time and then block with this, which is a world we lived in. That's why they printed Shriek Razors to maybe help us out. But now that cold foil just sits in my deck box, still sleeved just in case. Favorite weapon in Assassin? It's still Graven Call is still the coolest assassin dagger, even though Hunter's Clave is cool and integral to the deck, but I would be not true to myself if I didn't say Graven Call was the best. Dagger for 2 is great.
You can do that with Mark of the Huntsman.
I know, which makes me think of playing it because Dagger for 2 is crazy.
Xavier did. He went 5-0 day 1 on CC at PT. With
That's a good
Slippy,
idea.
but yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different. Did I do it? Did I name all the fresh faves that we stole from another popular podcast?
Oh, is that a thing?
Absolutely, it is.
Oh, I came up with it all on my own independently without any outside influence. So
I don't listen to other podcasts or ours, so I have no idea what Fresh Face is.
Boom.
Boom.
Balls in somebody else's court. I couldn't tell you who.
Do you?
They can take over our mowing and movie segment.
Which I want to get back to. How do you feel now, Colin, about that? Are you excited to play Arakni Marionette? Or was I too real?
I think a little bit of both, because you immediately got into the weeds of some very specific turns and named a lot of cards, and it reminded me that you've always been. I mean, I think all you guys are very good at like thinking back and be like, oh yeah, on this turn I did this. And I could have done this because they were doing this. I did that. I think back at a game and I'm like, I don't know what just happened most of the time. So
I pummeled Herald of Erudition and it was sick.
Yeah, if I did that, I'm like, fucking my whole night. That's just the whole night. And I did do that the other night, and that was fun. But yeah, I think Assassin is the one class where I'm like, ooh, and then I play it. I'm just like, fuck, this is really hard.
It is. It's very hard, but it's super rewarding because once you play it enough, you feel like you see the Matrix. You know what I mean? Because you're like, there's so many times because you have to play your opponent's deck also, and then once you play it enough and you get good enough at it. It feels really satisfying when you're like, I'm pretty sure I know 3 out of the 4 cards in your hand right now based on the way you're playing and what you've played already and what I need to play around. And then they have like 3 out of those 4 cards and you're like, all right, I've done it. I've reached the mountaintop. And then you probably still lose the game, but it's totally fine because you're still good.
Yeah, I mean, every time I've played against any of the assassins, I'm the one being like, what does this card do? And then like literally staring at it. I don't even put it back down because I just didn't comprehend the paragraph I read the first time. And then I have to go back and then I have to be like, what equipment is there?
Yeah.
What does the weapon do? They're gonna do something fucked up to me. Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, it's Bonds of Agony. Haley hit me with the Bonds of Agony the other night. I forget what she got, but it was crazy. She was playing new, and she, like, the first 2 turns, she, like, banished 2 of my Figments. And I was just like, fuck. And then, God, she was able to play 1 blue card. It was, I can't, I'm very tired tonight, but there's the aura that gives you +2 on illusionist attacks. Yeah, it was Pierce Reality. She plays Pierce Reality from my banish zone, and the rest of the game we were just like, is she gonna get to play an illusionist attack with +2 at some point? It was so funny because she was so mad when she sat down and I was playing Prism, and then she just like housed me. It was her it was her vengeance being taken out. But yeah, I think Arakni Marionette seems like a lot of fun. I love that you just like, well, Mark. I think the whole Mark system is really fun. Like, I think
really
that was
is
a really great addition, and it feels like in every use case that people are doing it, it's just like a little extra, as you said, mini game that is just exciting to happen.
And it's nice to have that threat, that pressure, that like, if you let this happen, I could pop off. That's fun. I could pop off.
Hell yeah. All right, I'm going to try it. You know what? I'm playing on Talishar. It's all for free. I don't need to buy any cards.
That's so true. Yeah.
It'll teach me how to play the cards.
LSS has come to a partnership to completely blow up Talishar for this summer, but we'll bring it back in the fall. It'll be spend $60 a month to play.
Unlimited is back and it's all digital. That's great. Yeah. Thank you all you guys. That was really fun to listen to you rant about things that are fun and why me and everyone else should play Azalea, Kassai, and every version of Arakni.
Yes, I'll play all of them. They're all good. They're all fun. But Marionette is the most fun.
He does seem like the most fun. Slippy seems fun too, but a little more like I'm just gonna play all the cards in my hand and hope I win. But I'm not sure if that's how you play. I don't know.
I have a very dumb question. Have you even tried Regicide against Fang or Syndra? Because that's written
No.
Royal on there for a reason, I think.
They're not popular enough. But maybe they will be now.
They could be. They're both quite good now.
Yeah. And you have a plethora of reactions now to Regicide them with, so. What I wonder...
Only Shred works, brother.
Assassin attacks. No, the heroes.
The hero text.
No way!
Yeah.
So Shred, play the Regicide, then hero is...
Sick.
Even if you block... They would block 12, though, so you got to put it on the back half somehow.
But... Oh, yeah, it doesn't have stealth, so you can't take up the mantle and switch it so you don't lose the game.
That's good,
unfortunate.
Dude, turn 0 Regicide. Let's go.
Let's get this bread. They have 3 pledge fealties in hand, and they forgot to flip over their equipment. Oh, shit.
And they forgot to flip over their equipment.
Perfect game. Let's go again.
Have you ever said, man, I wish I had a Regicide in my hand right now? They'd be dead.
No.
Take a mental note, and we'll talk to you 5 years from now. And if that number is above 2, let us know.
Dude, so many things are so great in this game in the world. If in 5 years we're going to talk about that on this podcast, A, our podcast had been going for 10 years. B, there's Arachnis to still be
alive.
able to play Regicide with. Yeah, and C, our planet has not fucking burned up and it's done for, or our country. So I love this world. I can't wait.
The fourth,
we'll see you there
for that.
High Seas 3 has just come out.
You can codex for Regicide.
You block with Regicide and then codex it back.
That eliminates a card from their hand. I'm starting to see it. Also eliminates a card from your hand.
Bonds of Agony. They're low. They block with multiple cards.
They block everything.
You snap.
Give it go
you
again.
Codex. You get the Regicide. You still have you discard, but you still have a card in hand, so you can buff it with Agent.
That would be sick.
That would be crazy.
How are you not doing this, Taylor? I don't understand. Like, Fang is a pain in the ass. Like, if you could just this one card hit you, bye.
Oh, the guy at Locals who freaking was playing Enigma all of the time, that's LL, and he brought Fang. So now I can just throw it as a one of in my deck, and we're fucking off to the races right now.
Because the reason I'm asking, the reason I'm asking this is I run Gold's hat with Kassai, so I don't want to be. If I ever lose the Regicide, that's a throw that deck in the trash. Goodbye. Like, I guess I could run an AB hat instead. But.
You can play you can register a blank slot, which was literally relevant at a Pro Tour when all the chains at PT1, they only brought Husk. And against Kano, you don't want Husk. It's only a liability. So they were just playing no chess piece into Kanos.
That's crazy.
which looked so weird, but that is how that works.
What's a liability about it? There's no way they could break
No,
it.
it can deal damage to you. So like when you go below 13, it auto destroys itself.
Oh,
And then it deals
I
you blood
forgot
debt.
That text. Fuck.
Yeah.
I did need you to spell it out for me. I was never
Good
gonna get
job. That's crazy.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, so it's like only bad.
Tusk is crazy.
Look, if Regicide only is a game winner if it hits them and they have cards in hand that are also in banished that they can't, that makes it so they can't block it, right? So like it still might not be playable, but
No, I mean you can like, yeah. I mean it's not good, but it's
not good.
funny. It's funny, and you can do it. Like
yeah. I mean,
think-
if that's the case, I just switch back to Huntsman because it's infinitely better in that deck.
no, because you can agents these guys. Agents.
Yeah, but I could just pitch stack it like I have
No, but
100 times before.
Huntsman cannot buff this.
Yeah,
Unless
but
he
I'll
has
get
the-
more cards in your banish, so you can't block this.
Unless he uses the helmet, right? Or no?
Oh yeah,
Black
I could all of a sudden become the agent I want.
Just don't roll a 6.
That's true.
you do need to hit the first 3 because Tarantula, Orb Weaver, and Trapdoor don't work.
Yeah, if when somebody figures out how to play Regicide correctly, I think that's just like Cinder does not have enough equipment, and if it's like there's text that matters on there of like, oh, I'm gonna banish my 0 for 3 block that gets me a card back, but if you have the third copy in your hand and you can't play it because it's in your banish zone, you're dead. That one in a million chance, brother.
I would love to play it. You know, I have all 4 available copies of that card, so
All right, well we'll be back in
4
5
versions.
years, so
yeah.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Can you hit someone? You can hit someone 3 times with Spider's Bite in one turn, technically. So you could Spider's Bite, flick the first Spider's Bite, so all their attacks block for -3.
See, this is the type of shit we need to be on right now.
But
Oh,
but Fang doesn't play any attacks.
Well, it's for Syndra, but
He's
Oh,
need
okay,
to
for
s-
Syndra.
Yeah, no.
So then also in my sideboard is 2 Orbitoclop. No,
Nerf Scalpels.
nothing. Oh yeah, nerve
Scalpels.
scalpels.
Nerf Scalpel's
One-
actually
one-
probably easier on Fang. Holy shit.
One
He's
peeler,
cooking?
one peeler, one scalpel.
You dagger with orbit. You dagger with the scalpel.
Scalpel, then
Yeah.
peeler.
Then you dagger with peeler. You flick the scalpel. That's
Yeah.
2. Then you go Regicide, and they go, wait, what? And they go, I'm just dead. And you go, you don't gotta wait any longer. You're dead. Tell the king I said this, bitch.
And you're like, yeah, that was just my non-foil version. I have the foil version.
Can you
also,
sign it
and the
for me?
blackout version.
I'm getting
Yeah.
everyone that I killed with Regicide to sign it for me.
And there's no signatures on it. They're the first.
Oh, you're right. I should just play Huntsman. Let's re-record and I'll start and I'll just say why Huntsman is the one you should play.
Hello,
All right, from the top.
Attactioneers. I'm Taylor
welcome to the
Morrow.
attack. Wait, that's not how we start.
No, it's a new spot.
Well, thanks everybody. If you've made it through the whole podcast, appreciate that. Everybody who makes it to the end, you're goated.
Let us know what hero you would pitch me and your fellow Attactioneers to play
Yeah. Why should we play that hero?
in the comments.
And it better not be a freaking mechanologist.
Yeah, we'll delete those. Guys.
Yeah. Betsy's only.
I do love Betsy.
Love you all. I hope everybody's doing great wherever you are. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
What's Mitch playing these days?